episode of Collaborator Short on Shorts. I am Michelle Nunes, and sitting next to me is a lover of Lollapalooza, Kevin Allen Jackson.
That is so true, and I have been dying to figure out something funny or something to say at this part of the show, and I just can't. And I still,
it's still
she
not
fed
happening.
it to me, and I still have nothing.
That was great, though, because
Thank
you just were like honest.
That's true. I'm just going to give my honesty to you. That is my gift to you.
That is what this show is. And then we also have the fiery Maria Perry.
I give you nothing.
She's just like, wow. What are you gonna do, idiot? I don't have anything either.
And this guy.
Yep.
He's got lipstick on his shirt and he doesn't want anyone to know, so I'm gonna call him out.
But it's like in my armpit. It's
Yeah,
like
you can't see
I
it.
clearly just hugged someone and they got their lipstick there. Like it's not somewhere sexy like
Someone
on
short.
my collar.
Yeah.
And honestly, who's the person kissing collars in the 1950s movies?
How do you get lipstick on your armpit?
Someone's short and you hug them and they just like,
So
and then
it's short people's
it
fault.
was like up here.
They wrote a song about that
It's gone. Yeah, I hate
a long
that.
time ago. They did.
This is Brett Erlich, by the way. I don't know if I got to say your last name.
Brett Erlich, I'm here. Let's talk. Speaking of short people, let's talk about short films.
Oh, segue, man.
Today, we are reviewing Slow Wave, a CG animated short directed and designed by Andy Kennedy, who takes us through 3 minutes of disturbing dream sequences, made all the more interesting by the film's accompanying music, which is pretty awesome. Kennedy based the short on his own experiences living in a noisy Brooklyn apartment where his downstairs neighbors often disrupted his life by playing constant music with heavy bass. Wow. Oh my goodness, what a visually stunning short film this was. I loved it.
I once lived above a bar with loud music and a lot of heavy bass.
Did you have trippy
It
dreams?
was nothing like that.
Oh, okay.
Nothing at all
My
like
experience
this.
was not like that at all.
It didn't inspire you to kind of make a blue CGI short film where later you're abducted by, I don't know what the rats coming in. But let's talk, there's different segments to this.
I was not inspired to make a movie.
The first segment of this is just a room, a standard room. And then suddenly things start going trippy. And when they went trippy, I just kind of lost it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not high right now, but I wish I was.
And the person who made this probably was.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to be, and I'm feeling a little high.
Yeah, I think if I was high when I watched it, it probably would have been way more enjoyable.
Really? Did
Yeah.
you not like it?
I didn't not like it. It just didn't. It underwhelmed me. It's a visually stunning piece. I always prefer narrative.
Yeah.
That's just
This
me.
is an experimental short, so
Yeah.
it's not a clear narrative. So there's another element to the creation of this that I think might add a little bit. Maybe it will. It wasn't just about the noisy bass. It was also the fact that the writer has sleep disturbances. He has night terrors.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And as someone who has them as well, I know what it's like to use the actual environment that you're sleeping in your nightmares, to feel like you're not necessarily in your bed when that's happening, and to go between perspectives. So that can happen.
What kind
So
of night terrors do you have?
Oh my goodness. You want like one
Are
that
there types?
I don't know. That's the thing.
well, like the ones I've had, like I'll literally know that I'm in my bedroom, and oftentimes they'll be lucid nightmares. So I'll know I'm dreaming, and I'll know it's almost like sleep paralysis. And he talks about in one of the interviews, he talks about having sleep disturbances. So it wasn't just about the bass, it's about how his mind, having these night terrors, is taking all of this information and creating this whole other world.
Right.
So I felt like the film was about becoming that person from a first-person perspective.
Well, don't you feel insensitive, Kevin, now that you pooped all over the film?
Oh my goodness. I don't feel like I pooped.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
But my response was slightly cynical, right?
As a kid, I had a really hard time falling asleep, so I would just lay awake in my bed for all night. And then somewhere around half the night, I would probably start hitting sleep debt without knowing that that's what it was. So I would start like hallucinating things in my room moving.
Wow.
So when that room started moving, started shifting, like that was very, very much what I felt like as a kid. So I was pretty into it. And then when it started getting like really nightmarish, I was like, oh, well, that's outside of where I got. So this guy's like 5 days with no sleep or something.
Yeah, I knew
That was my
people
assumption.
who, when they were in college, they would challenge each other to sleep, to go as long as possible without sleeping. And they would like hallucinate, like,
What was the point of that?
just being dummies.
Really?
just being dummies who are
Was there
competitive.
something about it that was fun?
You'd like hallucinate stuff. So like you'd hallucinate, like you'd see a chipmunk come in and jump on the professor.
Did anyone ever jump in and say if you want to hallucinate, there are way faster ways to get
Yeah,
there?
maybe they're just bored. Maybe they just didn't have the money for drugs, so
Okay.
they're like, let's do this
Fair enough.
straight
He
up.
said it was college. It serves more than one purpose. It's cheap, and you have more time to do things if you're not sleeping. So.
Yeah, don't you feel insensitive, Kevin?
I do. I'm all sorts of insensitive on this one. Sorry. about
No, here's the thing. When you approach like the idea of short films, there's that's a sandbox, and there are narrative short films, there's documentaries and all that stuff. And the experimental one is one where it kind of gives you the most open-ended way to execute something. And I think for what it's trying to execute, which is this crazy-ass dream sequence, starting with something normal and finding a way that I have never really seen before to start warping it and then get it way warped beyond all recognition, I thought was so compelling and great. Yes, for it I can't watch only films like this,
Right.
but in the span of watching all the ones that we've watched for this season, it's great to have something like this
Yeah,
to
it
kind
stands out.
of
There's
it's
nothing
that
else.
palate cleanser. It's just here it is. And yes, it feels more like something you would experience in a room at a museum that they black out the whole area and you just walk in and that's all you see.
Well, I mean, that to be completely fair, right? This is like any other piece of abstract art.
I don't know, though, if it's fair to say abstract is working in a vacuum where it's just for an individual to react. I mean, there's context for art, and this particular...
Oh, did I touch on her? That's right. You are an artist.
I am.
Yeah, you are.
So what I want to talk about in this film is some really interesting formal play that he was doing
Okay.
to kind of create the atmosphere, because he used like the monochromatic palettes of blues, right? But then he interjected it with some really stark reds, yellows, and whites. And so he created this visual contrast that was as jarring as the sounds that he kind of paired it with. And I thought that those were all really thoughtful.
Mm-hmm.
And this to me felt more like a visual and emotional journey, less so than when you have narration and you have like an audio experience with a film. You know, it was almost like he minimized the auditory experience, even though there was auditory in it. I don't know if I'm making
Yeah, and no, I get it. There's definitely no words or anything, and it is that kind of subdued. There's that the music only accents what visually
the visual,
is changing.
yes, exactly.
Did you guys watch with headphones?
I watched it with some pretty kick-ass speakers,
Okay. All right.
and it was great. Definitely not on this. I watched it like with 2 speakers, and I didn't feel like I was I didn't have surround sound or anything, but I felt like I wasn't like losing out on it.
Right.
But I thought it was good, and I thought it's one of those things when everything kind of crunches in, it takes, especially having started with a little nice evening bedroom.
Right.
You know, that's what, you know, it reminded me, there's this one Fish album, and the photo, and the cover is just like this guy like this, and it's all Eschery all around him and weird. But it's just like monochromatic and blue and sad looking.
Right.
And it started with that, and I was like, oh, we're someplace cool. And then there's rats that climb in the window
Oh my God.
and abduct him.
Well, okay, what you were talking about with like the calmness, then kind of this climax.
Yeah.
Slow wave sleep is a combination of low activity combined with high. And the film seemed to go between those, just like a slow wave sleep, which I thought was kind of interesting.
So slow wave is a type of sleep.
Yes,
like
it's deep sleep that's characterized by low activity in the brain, followed by a period of hyperactivity.
Interesting.
Wow.
Which happened in the film. And there was these waves. Like it started slow, it went high, it went back. Remember, it went back to the wind chimes, and then it went again.
Right.
And even at the end, it went slow again.
I mean, it's definitely, that's the thing, right? Is that a piece like this on a certain level is very heady, right? Like what you just said is a very like sort of, it's like you intellectually geeked out on it.
I totally
right?
did.
You know?
Yeah.
I learned a lot from
and
you.
that's fine, right? I mean, that's fine. But everybody's, you know, you're either going to like that or you're not, I think. You know?
But it's
Yeah.
not
For me-
narrative.
For me, I just didn't respond emotionally to it. And when I watch things, I want to be moved, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't moved, so.
Fair enough.
I can see that.
Your feelings are valid,
Thank you.
albeit wrong. I gave it 5 shorts because I loved it. Because I would just send this to someone and be like, you want to see something cool? Watch this. It's as well executed as something like this can be. And this is where a film can take you visually and sensorially.
I give it 4 shorts because it's visual poetry, and I took 1 short away because I hate poetry.
I agree with Brett 100% that this is executed about as good as you could possibly execute something like this, for sure. But because it didn't really move me personally, I'm going to give it 3 shorts.
That's still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was, you guys know I loved it. So I gave it 4 shorts because there were some things that were missing. Like there was an emotional component that was missing, but overall solid on every front of production.
That was an easy one. That's an average of 4 shorts.
Nice. How many shorts do you give it? Share that with us, won't you? In the comments section below. Subscribe to this and watch the video, by golly, by clicking the link under this video. It's like a weird snake eating its tail thing. I don't know if that translates. See you next time on Short on Shorts.